She's the best trader in the Senate.
Unbelievable trader.
In the world.
In the world.
Of all of our government officials, she's got the best inside information.
Warren Buffett, BlackRock, George Soros. It is time to step aside, because there's a new star in town. And it's our beloved, definitely not corrupt, Speaker of the House.
It gives me no pleasure to say this. It breaks my heart.
Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, also known as history's greatest stock trader. In 2020, while the plebs were suffering, her and her husband made an insane $16.7 million on the money they invested, which means they made a return of more than 50%. Forget Bitcoin, Nancy needs to open up a hedge fund right now so I can dump all my money into it. Let's see how her 50% return compares to some of the most legendary investors. BlackRock, the company that owns the world, was only able to make a measly 13%. Ew. And Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett's company Berkshire Hathaway only went up by 2% in 2020. Pathetic. You see, one of the biggest perks of being a member of Congress is that you get to participate in legal, repeat after me, legal insider trading. That's why Nancy Pelosi was able to buy Tesla stock right before Joe Biden signed off on pro-EV laws. That's why she was able to buy options on 4,000 shares of Google right before the House Judiciary Committee voted on antitrust regulation, making her and her husband a cool $5 million on this trade alone. If we traded on insider information, the SEC would fine us up to $5 million as an individual or $25 million as a business entity, and then they would throw us in a prison filled with violent criminals for up to 2 decades. And that's not even close to all the trades Nancy has made. No. Right before Microsoft secured a $22 billion Army contract, her and her husband exercised $1.95 million worth of call options. In 2008, Visa offered Nancy Pelosi access to IPO stock right before the House had to decide on some legislation Visa opposed. So her husband bought 5,000 shares at $44 each, and 2 days later, the price skyrockets to $64. Her and her husband made $100,000 overnight. And the legislation? It was never even taken to the floor to vote. Nancy Pelosi has been a career politician since she was a kid with her dad. She never had a career outside of politics. She never started a business. She was never in a position to build real legitimate wealth. And yet somehow, her and her husband now have an estimated net worth of over $190 million. When her salary as a politician is only around $220,000 a year. When asked about banning insider trading for politicians, this is what she had to say.
Because this is a free market and people, we are a free market economy, they should be able to participate in that.
If you thought insider trading was bad on Wall Street, it's time to take a walk down Capitol Hill.
She's planning to retire to a community of people she's demonized. Like, if the boss of San Francisco is out of here, I'm definitely out of here.
And if you want a free stock, definitely works, right?
Mr. Cantor's remarks about the Stock Act and its importance that we are here to do the people's business and not to benefit personally from it.
The Stock Act, known as the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, was created to stop this insider trading on Capitol Hill and make it illegal. The act was passed in April 2012 when the plebs were all up in arms about this, but once they settled down and moved on to the next outrage just a year later, Congress made a very specific change. They loosened the Stock Act's disclosure requirements to make it incredibly difficult for the public to access their filings. And even if the public could get their hands on the information they needed, Congress members have 45 days after the trade to report it, meaning they have a massive window to profit before anyone finds out. And the Stock Act is enforced by the Department of Justice and the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. And who funds both of these government agencies? Congress. No one bites the hand that feeds them. So it's not exactly surprising that the Stock Act is so selectively enforced. That's why I am proud to announce that I am now running for senator. Please donate to my campaign and I promise you that I will dedicate my existence to rooting out corruption and letting you know what stocks you should maybe buy or sell. A vote for Jake Tran is a vote for transparency. But in all seriousness, loopholes like these have led to the very lucrative profession of the career politician, where you go in broke, and if you know how to play the system, you can leave a multi-millionaire. You learned how to get rich as a politician with insider trading. Now it's time for a video to teach you about the controversial life of our friend, Jeffrey Epstein. The problem is, if I made a public video about him, it would probably get demonetized because of the nature of the subject matter. That's why this upcoming documentary will only be available to members of this channel. You won't be able to watch it anywhere.